Yo, 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 it's Friday night. I'm your boy High Five Vega.
Friday night?
Or, no, it's Thursday night. I'm your boy High Five Vega. And this is Dean. I'm one
Hey,
day ahead.
what's going on?
Nothing much, man. I got to work on Saturday and Sunday, like you. Well,
Yeah,
Saturday and
Sunday.
Sunday. So
Yeah.
it's just, it all blends together now.
Yes. Yeah. Oh no, trust me. I feel your pain. Although counting inventory totally sucks.
Yes, it does. It does. Hopefully, sometimes we don't have to work Saturday. Maybe that's one of this year. Maybe that's how it go.
Yeah. I used to have to do that when I was at AVE. And what would always irritate me is that products that we didn't have the year before, because it never fails. Like something gets opened, like mid range comes out, it gets sent back, it doesn't get put back in the box right, or who knows,
Yeah,
products just go missing. And
that's exactly how it and just blow it up on a bigger scale. And we have, they're like it's something it gets scrapped, doesn't get recorded properly, doesn't get taken out of the system,
right, and
messes
that's
up
just
your
it.
cycle count. It's like, well,
And every year, hello from San Pablo, Brazil. What's up?
oh, Brazil.
And so every year it would be like those things would come back, and I was like, they weren't here last year. They're not going to appear this year.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
yep.
what do you think is going to change?
Uh, yeah, they never know
Yeah. So,
what's going on. What?
but yeah, no, hated it. Thank God Paul doesn't have us do that because he's on his own.
No kidding.
Yeah, that would that would be terrible.
So I did see you do a part one of the Rockford Fosgate full setup. So that
Yeah,
was pretty interesting.
yeah, it's definitely it's. Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
Most installers don't always tell the salesman when they sold the wrong kit, and we grabbed the right one. Oh no, for sure.
Hmm.
And there again, like kits and stuff like that. Most of the like kits, how we used to enter kits was just kit.
Right.
So, and there would be, because back then it was real easy. There wasn't $500 kits, and as the $500 kits started to come out, then they'd be part numbered. But anything that all the bagged kits back then were all maybe 25, $30 tops.
Right.
And so they'd just be labeled as kit, and then we would just have to count. Like it says we have 500 kits, you know. But yeah. But anyways, yeah. No, the Rockford system is cool. The idea was to get it up Wednesday night, but
Right.
Wednesday I was really tired. Like so much so that like I came home. I actually finally got to go to the gym, which was great because I've just been so busy. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna go to the gym. And I went and I came home and I was eating dinner, and then I was finishing watching something on my phone at the table, and I put my head down to watch it, and I fell asleep. And then Haley walked in. She's like, "Are you sleeping?" And I was like, "I was."
So you didn't do the old deny it thing?
Oh no, I don't care. I'll
Yeah, me
happily.
neither. But for some reason, Cassie will not admit when she's asleep.
Oh, screw that.
Yeah.
9% of the 99, 45, 44s. Oh my gosh, dude, I hated those. That's like a pillowcase size kit, and it's the kit for like every GM car. That took a din and a half,
Yeah.
and it was just like, I believe that's the one. And you used to keep them because you like there was parts, and so you'd have like 6 unfinished kits, and then and then they were smart, and they were like they just started selling the part,
Right.
and because they knew everyone had bags of the wings, so you could just buy the centerpiece and then build as many kits as you wanted until you're. But it was like you'd have an inventory of freaking. Oh god, what a nightmare!
Nightmare.
Especially when you were out of parts.
Baba, I wish StreamYard would pop up the custom emojis, but they don't.
Yeah, I know, right?
Unfortunately. What's up, Baba?
How's his name Green?
That's he's a channel member.
Oh,
Channel members that's where the custom emojis come in, but StreamYard doesn't do the whole thing yet. So
I didn't realize channel member was a thing.
Yep.
I didn't. They pay for that?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, you can do it. I mean, you can do it just like Patreon, really, if you want to. The content and all that. You can do everything the same. Plus the custom emojis.
Team Green for the win. Yeah, it didn't work out for them. Although I really like they picked bad colors. They just picked bad color. But,
yeah.
So, but no, it's I was excited to get that out. Next week we'll wrap it up. I don't think that's a really long one.
So what was the add-on piece? So it looked like the main box had pretty much everything in it.
The one box has everything, and then that's the side panel where the subwoofer goes, because you're taking out the factory subwoofer and it's all one big piece. So they make you need a factory side panel in order for their kit to work. So they made a knockoff of the factory piece, and you have to buy that. So it's also nice because there's nothing special about it. So like if you've got one of the Alpine JL Jeeps and you're trying to put a system in it and you don't want to have that stupid Alpine sub in the side panel, you can just buy this piece, and put it in if you wanted. I mean, you could also buy it from Jeep too, but I think the Rockford piece is a little cheaper.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, but yeah, I get to go to Canada and talk some more about Jeep stuff. Yeah.
When's that coming?
So not next week,
but the week after.
But the week after, I think I fly out at like Wednesday night at like 8, 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Because they have a late flight out, which is cool. Which means we're supposed to leave at like 8 o'clock or 8:30 or something like that, and we'll probably get out at like 10 o'clock. Knowing them. So
where do you fly out of? Tampa?
Tampa International Airport.
Because you guys got two airports there. There's like one there, and then there's one.
There's St. Pete International Airport, or St. Pete. I think they call it St. Pete International Airport, but I don't think there's anything international about it.
Yeah.
But it's just, it's, I don't even know. It's like PIE is what I think the initials are.
Yeah.
It's a really small airport. I've never flown out of it, but that would be, and it's funny because when you're coming in, there's Tampa, there's PIE, St. Pete, there's MacDill, and then there's another small little commuter airport, all right there.
Right.
So it's if you're I've heard pilots be like, oh my gosh, coming into Tampa for the first time is like, oh shit, where am I landing? Because they're all right next to one another. So
I know, because I think Allegiant flies, and then you have to like catch. So you'll have to catch a ride from one airport to the next, the way that or Breeze or something like that. Because I was looking at flights there, and there was one where you land here, you have to get a ride to the other airport, take off from that airport. It's one of the cheap flights.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah.
I would not want to do that.
Which is why I didn't do that.
No, that would be terrible.
Yeah.
Because even though it's not that far of a ride, it would be terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God, why would you?
I seen that. I was like, I seen a note on there, and I better read this note. What's this note say?
Yeah, that would be weird, man. Have to go through TSA twice. Oh my God. That would, that would suck. Comparing my Focal FDP 604 to a Sound Digital 804. Was kind of surprised at the difference in fidelity. I'm a fan of full bridge for subs, thinking I will stay with the focal for mids and highs. Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
That's. I mean, hey, listen, it's they don't. I mean,
They make some stuff that's higher end sound quality type stuff, but I think if you're getting their
they have.
804, it's probably meant just to get loud.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, their new sound quality stuff is the GAN
Right.
amplifiers, which comes with a price. But that's Sound Digital's version of a high end amplifier, and it's. I've heard it. I don't know what that means. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, "Oh my god, dude, you gotta hear this thing! It's so amazing."
Yeah.
It sounded better than most when it comes. Like, it sounded better than a regular Sound Digital. I'll tell you that. But we had our hands on one at one point in time, and I was like, "Oh, this is pretty cool," but it was not ready for prime time. It needed to go back in the oven for another year and a half.
Well, they put some out before, I remember, but is it in reference to the power supply? Is it a GAN power supply?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all the GAN stuff. And so depending on which engineer you talk to, some will say, "Oh, yeah, that's cool," and others will say, "That's not ready yet." And you're just like, okay. Engineers are a funny little group of people, because the one thing I've found, knowing as many of them I do now, is that if they didn't design it, it sucks.
Yeah. Well, you're not on their team.
Yeah, totally not on their team. GAN FETs are the future. At some point, I mean, the future is the future. It's the future is not now. The future is now. No, it's not.
The future is not now.
Do we have some cool stuff now? Yeah. Are there going to be better things later? Yeah. Until we get there, we'll just deal with what we got.
Oh man.
But like, when you get a manufacturer that's like, we're going to take a chance on this technology, and we're willing to build something with it right now to move it forward. I kind of like that. As long as they can build a quality product and be happy, and stand behind it, that's great. Because you got plenty of guys on the sidelines going, "Oh, that's not ready yet. Yeah, we're not going to build anything because it's not ready yet." It's like, what's not ready about it? I mean, clearly they've figured it out to work with it. You just want it easier? I mean,
yeah.
What are we talking about? So,
man, you got to break some eggs to make a cake.
Or another engineer picking on somebody else's product in a public manner, not really understanding what they're, not like, I don't like that. I don't like it when people have to sit there and be like, "Oh, look at this. This isn't good." And it's like, why? Because you're staring at a picture?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Well, it's like people look at RTA and, well, this doesn't look how it should on the RTA. Like, man, let's see what it sounds like in the vehicle. I've heard some that RTA'd very well and did not sound as good as I hoped.
Oh, 100%. I mean, that's the Cadillac and the pickup truck.
Yeah.
It's, listen, the RTA will get you close, but your ears will get you there.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you're talking about, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
I didn't see anything. I haven't even been on Facebook. I've been super busy.
So we got a pretty cool thing this week. So there's a gentleman named Frank. It's like, I can't figure out. It looks like Milwaukee, but it's not Milwaukee. I'm sorry, it looks like Makita, but it's not Makita. And Frank is the designer of the Gladen Moscone software. He's one of the engineers there, and we got to meet him at MasterTech. Really nice guy. And then we also got to meet Patrick Gladen, who's the president of the company.
Yeah.
And so the other day in the mail, we got a Moscone amplifier, little tiny old school Moscone amplifier that they signed for us. It says to Dean and Fernando, and they put like 5 stars, through 5 stars, and then they both signed the amplifier. And I was like, oh, this is the coolest thing ever when the president of the company sends you something like that. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I had some good times talking with him, but apparently I made a good impression. But it's pretty cool. They also wanted shirts, so we had to make them 5-star shirts and send them out to them. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But
And now they'll be sporting 5-star worldwide.
yeah, it's pretty cool. But
what,
yeah.
What was the amp? Was it the?
So it's an old Moscone. I don't know. It looks like a. I've never seen it before. It's silver. It looks like the DSP. It's like a G2 or some weird thing like that. I have no idea.
They made the Boston. Does it look like the Boston acoustic ones they made?
No, it literally looks just like the DSP.
Oh, really?
It looks like a squared off piece of aluminum.
Yeah.
But I've never seen it before. I'm assuming it was at the warehouse, and they were like, we want to sign an amplifier and send it to Dean and Fernando, and they were just like,
here you go.
Oh, that.
Take this one.
Sign this, which I don't care.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you've never seen it, it's probably not out there and about everywhere.
No, I mean, that which makes it even cooler to me. I gotta be honest with you, because the more like, oh, they don't make that anymore. Oh, cool.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. So I'm building this cool plaque to hang it on, because I just don't want to put the amp on the wall. I want it to be like shiny and shit. So I have not had a chance to talk to Marty about recoil. I've set other speakers ready to go into my wife's car if she lets me. No, I haven't had a chance to talk about it. The idea there is, I guess they're opening up part of it to dealers, which makes sense considering the way Cicada's business model has worked really well for them.
Right.
It kind of makes sense for Larry, the owner, not Larry Frederick. He's dead, but the actual Larry that owns the company that Larry Frederick worked for,
right?
To go that way. So we'll see. There's a lot of brands that we talk to. Marty's a friend of mine, a close person. Is a personal friend of mine. Yeah. So, if there's something that we can do, I love working with friends. Because anytime I can help a friend, I want to do it.
Yeah.
So. If there's something there, then we'll definitely find out about it. But until then,
I don't see a lot of your customers being recoil customers.
No, I don't either. But a lot of these, a lot of the fans of the show are going to be, and so
definitely be cool to show off, and if they want to buy it or whatever. But
yeah, I mean, like we work with some manufacturers that we like. There's a decent amount of manufacturers that we'll talk with that, the retail side of things will never see it. But I like the people, I like the company, and like Diamond Audio. Like right. we will never sell Diamond Audio through the retail side of things. It's just, but they make some cool stuff, and they're good friends of mine. I've known them for years. And so if we can collaborate on something, I totally will do it, because I just, I want to see them succeed, and if I can help in any small part, I don't mind helping, and plus there's a lot of cool shit, and everyone wants to hear about cool shit. I mean, people love unboxings,
Yeah. Well, I've played with some of their accessories, and for budget stuff, I mean, I don't have no issues with it. Seems decent.
Yeah. So it says Knowledge Fest this year. There are 3 Knowledge Fest left, depending on where you're at in the world. So Tennessee is coming up next month. Next month sometime. I will not be at Tennessee. I have a family thing to do. Fernando may or may not be there. Then there's Atlantic City, which I think is in June. I have no idea, but we will be at Atlantic City because I've never been to Atlantic City. So I'm like, hell yeah, we're going to that. And then there's Dallas in August, as always. And probably won't be going to Dallas unless somebody is like, we want you there. And I'm like, okay, well, pay for it.
Oh, man.
Of Crutchfield has Focal auditor components for $99. Thoughts on them?
You mean these?
So those are last year's auditors. Those are not the new auditors. There's actually been 4 generations, maybe 5 generations of auditor since I've been working with Focal as a retailer. The latest version of auditor comes in an all white box. My guess is it's probably those like you just pointed to up there that have the colorful box. They're again still a great speaker for $99.
Yeah.
Haley has the new white box auditors, which we shot the video on in her car right now, I believe. And the new ones, see, I can't speak to those because I have never heard those. But the new ones are like as close to Focal ripping shit up as you could ever possibly get. Like the tweeter is just like it's 100% finally a Focal tweeter instead of some not Focal tweeter.
So this set, I've only got one side of the doors done.
Yeah.
It just because I'm doing the full baked potato and I don't have much time.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say, just like unboxing it, the tweeter is not any set that costs you $99. You're not getting a high quality tweeter. Just know that going in. Everyone should know that, right? So it's going to do the job. It's going to be okay, and I can tell it's okay. But I'll give more thoughts on it when I get the whole set put in.
Yeah. I put a budget system together with recoil and Tony D amps. Yeah. I mean, why not, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the reality is anytime you're designing a system, Dallas, Texas for Knowledge Fest. Yes, the Dallas, Texas is where Knowledge Fest is in August. Yeah. The reality is anytime you put a system together, I would listen, you have a budget, push it as far as you can, because, $10, $100, another $200 really can change how a system is, because like the price difference between whatever a $99 auditor is, let's say you buy 2 sets, that's $200, right?
Right.
So if you put another $200 into it, you got $400. What are you getting for $400? Okay. So, or if you're looking at an amplifier, you're going to spend $200 on an amplifier. Okay. What can you get for $400? Double it. Just see what it is. Now, that isn't always the case. Like you don't always have an extra $200 laying around, but it only makes sense to go like, what's $200? $200 is different $200 you have to think of as time, right? Money is time. Right. So when you go, it's I don't have an extra $200. All right, when would you have an extra $200? Is it a month? Is it 2 months? Is it 6 months? Whatever it is, you look at the amount of, okay, so here's what $200 can get me. But here's what $400 will get me. And if it's a significant upgrade, which more than likely it will be, what is that worth to you? Because this is what I was, when I was a kid, I had $150 in my pocket. I went shopping with $150. Right. I bought whatever I could for $150. And then the next time I had $120 in my pocket, I'd buy whatever I could for $120. And it was like, I just kept buying crap, and I'd have to sell the old stuff. And it was like, dude, if I would have just saved that $150 and that $120, I'd have had $270. I could have got this. Oh, what a dummy.
Yeah.
But it's, I just, what could I get if I doubled it? And if it's like, oh shit, that's really nice. Yeah. Then wait. Mm-hmm. Wait and get the better thing.
And the reason I use stuff like this is mainly for YouTube purposes.
Oh yeah.
But also, some people, what's important to you? Is the bass the most important thing? Well, you're probably going to focus on your subwoofer and your sub amp and your electric.
Even if you do, so there's another one like a sub amp. Okay, so like what an RP 1500 from Scar is 1500 watts, and it's like what $180 now, maybe $190,
something like that. Yeah,
something like that. Okay, so which it's under $200. Okay, so if we go up to a $400 amp, okay, we're not as concerned with the 1500 watts because the likelihood you're going to get 1500 watts out of that amplifier with that particular power supply is thin.
Yeah.
So if we go up to a $400 amp, who makes a good $400 amp that's going to put out, let's say, 1,000 watts or 1,200 watts? You know, where am I at now?
Right.
And then you're like, oh, that opens like I had a guy today that came in and I go, you know, why don't you look at like a salt amp? And he was like, oh my God, dude, I totally want one of those. I was like, well, stop dicking around with this cheap shit and go buy a fucking salt amp, man. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Oh, man, they're just, you know, they're more. Of course they're more. But what is your time worth to you? You know? I mean, you're over here screwing with this thing, complaining that it has noise. It's like, well, I mean, you bought a $120 amplifier. It's going to have noise.
Yeah.
Especially in that old car that you're driving, you know? But if you would have bought a $250 amplifier or $300 amplifier, guess what? You wouldn't have these problems. So I think a lot of people just get like, they get ahead of themselves. I always look at the next one up just to see what is better. What am I, you know, listen, go for the right column every time. Always go to the right column and see what it has to offer. Because at the end of the day, whatever is in the right column is the best. Then you can see what you're willing to give up for what you can afford, you know? And if you're not, well, then you keep saving until you get to that right column.
Yeah, you just gotta have your goals set right. What is your goal? Is your goal like Swizzle says here? It's for his wife, so he really doesn't.
No, he doesn't care at all.
Right. He just needs something decent for the budget in there, which is he knows his goal, so he knows what he's going for.
Yeah, and there again, it's totally cool. It's totally cool. I understand. I'm just talking in principle though, because
Right, yeah.
I mean, a lot of the times you just get these people and you're just like, you know, and even when I'm quoting something out to somebody, it's like, what's your budget? Okay, this is my budget. It's a hard out. You know, I'm at $3,000, and you're like, okay, $3,000. All right, let's see what we can do for $3,000. You know, and you start talking to him. And you're like, listen, man, what we're talking about shooting your budget. Okay, so why don't we do this? Why don't we just see where the actual what you really want falls, and then we can figure out what you're willing to give up in order to be at your budget. I said, you know, because the conversation always, this is my car, man. This is my baby. This is, okay, well, do you want your baby to wear Jordans, or do you want to go to Target and get some generic high tops?
Yeah.
You know, they're called tall shoes, you know, because, and then again, there's nothing wrong with tall shoes. It's just, you know, you're sitting there talking about how great your baby is, and you're going to be driving this for the next 6 years. You're going to be rolling around with tall shoes. Well, like, why are my feet sore?
There's another facet to this argument, because I have this argument with Cassie all the time. She will buy cheap jeans, cheap blouses or whatever. And then I'm like, hey, why don't you just, instead of buying 5 pairs of cheap jeans, let's buy 2 pairs of good jeans. And then later on you can add 2 more, and then you're just going to have these forever. You know, they're going to last forever.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, that's great, but I want a variety of jeans and I don't care how long they last. And it's like, well,
yeah.
I guess I can't argue with that.
No, you got logic you're applying, run with it, bro. And no, I don't think I would enjoy working with Patrick. I mean, we definitely have a different philosophy on how this is supposed to be done.
Yeah.
So, just, you know, yeah, I don't think that's the case, you know, but it's okay. I mean, you know, to each his own.
Yeah.
You know, never met the guy, but you know, Marty has.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I never either. I think I've really ever been to Arizona much in general. So
go a lot.
Pass on it. I'll pass on it.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, yeah. So anyways, that's always kind of I'm a big fan of buy it once, man. You know, every time I settle, and I remind, dude, and like, listen, we're human, right? We make mistakes, you know. You know, we bought all a bunch of new cameras for work, and I bought some lenses just to get some lenses, knowing damn well that I shouldn't waste any money on these lenses, but I just bought them because it's like we needed something. And immediately I was like, why did I buy these? These suck. These are shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, so I immediately started just like, all right, we're not buying another one of these. We have enough, but we have to get the better ones now because these just suck. So we'll end up with a good one and a bad one. So, but depending on what we're filming, then it's okay. That's how I justified it in my head. But
Right.
if I can shoot at f2, I'm going to shoot at f2, not f4 point whatever or 5.6. Screw that shit. And everyone in the room just went, what?
Well, I mean, unless you got a full frame, and then you can go f4, and it's still going to be groovy.
No, it's not. Trust me, that's a myth.
No. No, I can't go that low. On full frames, I found that I hate the too much blur.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all the cameras now we have are full frame.
Yeah.
So, but it's still, you still want f2. Yeah. Because f 1.2 is fantastic, but depending on the distance and what you're shooting, when you have a focus that is that much, tip of the nose to right there, shot's gone. That's a weird picture to take. When you focus on the eye and the tip of the nose is out of focus, it's like maybe that wasn't such a good idea.
They asked you how much light you wanted, and you said yes.
Well, yeah, I want it all. Yeah, which is what's driving me crazy on the Fuji, because the Fuji, it's like everything's f4, and I'm like, I don't want to shoot at f4, or yeah, we won't get into camera talk because that just gets nerdy and shit like that. So, Dean, how does Brian connect his DAP to his system? Is it so? There's actually a podcast on that about how he does it, but it doesn't exist yet. And that's all I have to say about that. Stay tuned. So soon enough.
You don't know.
Yeah, just been kind of backed up with things, but they're soon. Yeah. Well, probably not soon enough.
Oh.
Yeah. So, yeah, but that's all. So what else we got?
I didn't have no specific topics. Okay. Yeah, I had a bug to pick with the freaking Prius, dude. So, and also Crutchfield. So I went ahead and I bought the little speaker adapter so I can plug in, solder to the speakers. Whatever.
Yeah.
You can't do that on this Prius. Because if you're not running the factory tweeter reroutes the sound full range, filters, puts out a full signal. I don't know exactly how it works, but the tweeter has the signal. And so
the tweeter has 4 wires going into it, right?
4 wires, yes.
So it's an in and an out.
Mm-hmm. You know what I did though, right?
Hopefully you just broke the back off the tweeter and plugged it back in.
No, here's what I did.
Oh, you made it harder.
No, here's what I did. Yeah, I made it very much harder because I had the plug, right?
Yeah.
So why would anything be wrong? I got the plug. Everything's wired up correctly. I pull the whole door in, get it all buttoned up, nice, and go to play speakers. Like, is everything coming out of the right? Like, what's going on? Did the key mess up? Is it? Then I'm like, hold up. I can't hear anything out of these. I had to pull the whole freaking thing out and figure out what the hell was going on. And that's when I fixed it, right?
Right.
But just, and then I was like, you know what? I don't know why I didn't test this before I even closed this stupid ass door up.
Yeah, so Toyota likes to make the come out of the radio through the tweeter off to the mid range.
Yeah.
And the new 2024 Tundra. So the old Tundra was radio, powers, the 3.5s in the dash, and then they Y off from each one of the 3.5s to go to a center. It's a dual voice coil center channel. Okay. It's like cool, right? And then they also come out of the radio high level into an amplifier underneath the front seat. That amplifier will then power the 6x9s. So they have a high level amplifier. So it's the front power out powers this, the new amplifier powers that, and then typically it'll power the rear also.
Yeah.
The new 2024, they were like, yeah, let's not do that. So the 2024, they put a bigger chip in it. So now it just powers the dash, the center, and the mids. So 5 speakers on the front channel, and then 2 speakers on the rear channels. And you're like, that sounds terrible. Car sounds like shit, typical Toyota fashion.
Yeah.
So you're like, all right. So he pulls the tweeters out, new plugs. So it's not the old plugs, new plugs. And so the tweeters are going, or the 3.5s in the dash have a loop through that go down to the mid range. And you're like, well, that sucks, because, all right, fine. Then I'm looking in the dash and it's all aluminum, which is great. So it's like, oh, well, this is wonderful because like nothing good comes from that. So then I'm looking in the dash and I see this weird gray plug in the back of the dash. I'm like, well, what the frick is that? That looks like all the speaker wires. So I pull it out and I unplug it and all the speakers die. And I'm like, the heck is this? So it has 2 wires coming in, like 6 wires going out.
Right.
And it's the bus for all the shit that's going on. So the radio comes out of that, goes into this. And from that point, you can find the center channel, the dash speakers, and the door speakers. And you're like, oh,
is that where you tap your speakers in when you're powering them?
So the funny thing is there's a plug. So there's a dummy plug in the dash that, pardon me, this whole thing plugs into.
Right.
When you plug it, I'm guessing it's designed for the JBL system to make things a little easier. So they have this weird dummy plug that just sits there that this plugs in. So I pull the dummy plug out and I'm looking at the dummy plug. And you can see where it's like 3 forks inside of one thing. And I'm like, I get what they're. And so then I started metering it from there because what we didn't want to do is have to cut the plugs in the dash and loop them through, because with the aluminum wire, it just sounds that sounded like a really lose proposition for us, because you take 2 aluminum wires, you twist them together, and you crimp them with steel. It just sounds to me like we can't solder them. It just sounds like there's going to be an issue. So it's like there's got to be a better way to do this and have the mid bass and the doors play. And so I started toning, and I could tone it from there. And I was like, oh. So then I went and tried to find a harness to attach into it, and there isn't anything, which really sucks. Nobody has shit yet. So I was like, So then I took the little dead plug thing and I started sanding it, and you could get to the copper rails. So inside of it actually has copper rails inside of it. So I was like, oh, we got copper rails. Not a problem. So then I soldered onto the backside of it, covered it in shrink wrap, and from there I can get to the mid-range. Then we just ran new wires up to the tweeters, and of course we disconnected the center channel because that thing's a piece of crap. And it was like, bingo. Problem solved. Life is great.
Nightmare. Sounds like a nightmare is what it sounds like.
I mean, these are the stupid things you run into, though. I mean, it's like, but we didn't want to cut those stupid plugs to get to those 4 wires, because it's like, oh man, this sucks. So the problem is nobody probably knows about that yet. And so, at some point we'll get Metro, or we'll get PAC, probably more Metro, and be like, hey, there's a plug in the dash that controls all the speaker wires. We need an adapter for that.
Yeah, like this is not good. And the good thing of the whole situation was when I pulled the Focal tweeter out of its housing, they sent it in the flush nut or whatever. I was like, this is pretty close to that Toyota tweeter.
Yeah,
they just used the little clips, pushed right in, man. Locked with the factory clips. I was like, well, can't beat that. Even though I had to take the door apart twice. So
yeah, well, so like we did a today we were working on a Mercedes van, the Metris, And, you know, vans in general suck. Vans with dual doors that are small suck the most
Yeah.
because there's really no way to get wiring to the back of the van. So everyone's like, we can mount the amp there. And it's like, no, because the factory harness goes down either side of the car and it goes through the running board. There's like, unless we want to pull this thing apart like the guys from Indonesia do and tape everything down the center and cut out the carpet and do all that. We're not doing that. So we need to come up with something a little bit more plausible and also in budget. That's the key, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be Metro. Yeah, we work with Metro, so like I can just call Jason and be like, hey. Anyways, so I'm looking at it and we're taking it all apart and we're just trying to figure everything out, and like the tweeter snaps into place. It's like a German tweeter, and we're like, oh great, because it's got a cavity that's got to rest in, so we can't go with a big tweeter, because he's like, I sold them Rockfords, and I'm like, yeah, not gonna happen. Like, no, I mean, it's got these little skinny speakers in the doors, and but there again, the new auditors were, because he wanted like he likes the sound of Rockford, which is loud and screamy and metal tweeter, and I was like, sounds like auditor, and so auditor fit the tweeter just like locked right into place in the top of the dash because I just literally walked over there with all the pieces and we're just like, and Paul's like grabbing stuff. I'm like, okay, so I know this is your first day, but what we have to do is we have to figure out the solution for the tweeter first, and then from there we can back into whatever else we need, because he's like grabbing coaxials and stuff, and I'm like, no, stop, just
calm down.
Calm down. I will find the speaker that will make this work in budget. But then the coolest part of it was for the amplifier, when we started taking the dash apart, there is like this gigantic hole in the center of the dash. And I was like, that is perfect for a Kenwood 802.5. Like, it will fit right there. So we mounted the amplifier right in the center of the dash.
Nice.
So it's like right behind the cup holders in the dash. There's 4 giant bolts, so you can bolt the damn thing right in. And you're like, this is the coolest thing ever. So, yeah. Have you heard any good ribbon tweeters? Actually, you gotta be careful with ribbon tweeters in a car, because ribbon tweeters are really susceptible to dust. But Raven makes a really nice set of ribbon tweeters. So if you're looking for ribbons, Raven, you can find that's from Orca. So
I don't think I've ever used ribbon tweeters in a car. I've seen them, but
yeah, it's not something most people use because they are very susceptible to dust. Any ribbon, Mark Levinson towers, or any of that stuff, your electrostatic panels.
Yeah,
you got to be careful with dust and debris. So, if you're driving around with your top down, your windows down all the time, and you're smoking cigarettes and shit, good luck.
There you go. Let's see, Alex. I feel like either one of these subs are going to be very similar. So pick the one you like the looks of. Pick the one that fits your price better. They're both, kind of SPL type subs. So
Prime 1200.1.
The Prime, the big Prime.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that has a boost power supply too.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I like the Prime amp. So.
Well, no, hey, listen, I have no problem with them. I always find it funny when we put the 1200.1 in, because I'm like, okay, we're just hoping that it's going to put out 1200 watts, because it's probably not going to.
Yeah.
Not that it can't. It'll put out 1400 watts, but your electrical system probably can't support it. That's why those other amps don't ever put out power. I mean,
well, that's what people forget.
Yeah. But
using both Bosch AGM under the hood, 2.0 parallel to the back,
wow.
Low voltage lithium. Any reason not to use a smart isolator? I mean, if you're using an isolator, if you can, why not? I mean, you don't have to. If they're your AGM is going to drag down the lithium. If it's is it, I'm assuming it's point 0.8 higher. The charge voltage shows when you run batteries in parallel, it's always going to go to the lowest battery. Just throw an isolator in there. Shouldn't be an issue.
Well, and the isolator is really only for when the car is off.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, it's not gonna matter when the car is on.
Yeah.
But it's the two batteries talking to one another and hating each other when the car is off that you separate the two batteries from in a conventional system.
Right. Well, and then yeah. I mean, that's how it's going to work.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming this is not a new vehicle.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Let's get a 350 amp alternator. Yeah.
They only make them for Chevy trucks. Oh man.
Well, I mean, Chevy for everything.
Yeah.
Dude, LS1 swap, right?
Old ones.
Yeah, it is a solenoid. It's a relay. It's all it is. Big. Nobody uses an isolator anymore. A true isolator, a diode isolator.
No.
I don't know anybody.
No.
They haven't used those in a long time.
Yeah, it's just a relay.
Yeah. Those were fun. We have those in our displays for power.
Maybe that was a hint right there. That was a hint that Steve is old school. Back when they did have them.
Oh yeah, isolator.
Yeah.
That always sucked.
Yeah. No.
No.
Nope.
A spray paint can with a voltmeter.
Yeah, that's an easy one. Unless you're talking about one of those 500 or 5,000 farad super caps, okay,
like maybe. A Rockford supercapacitor.
Yeah, maybe, but
that might actually do something.
A regular cap, and even then, a capacitor is only going to give you. It's going to store for a limited amount of time the energy that you have for burn. Right. So for extended playing, it's not going to do much for you anyways. But it'll help your headlights from dimming. A super cap, not best.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying a capacitor just looks like a can of spray paint with a voltmeter standing on top. You know, and most of the new ones are like
they have little bitty. I've seen people cutting them open, and they have little bitty capacitors in them.
Yeah.
They're true. They're true 1 farad capacitors, but
they're just tiny.
Yeah.
That was the size.
Yeah, that's all you need.
So years ago we used to sell Harrison Laboratories capacitors.
Yeah.
And they tried to, when capacitors started to become smaller, they started selling smaller capacitors. And like, these are 1 farad capacitors. And everyone's like, no, they're only half the size. Like, things shrink over age. And basically what the marketing people came to was that a capacitor has to look this size
for people to believe it.
And it's like, it's not true, but whatever.
Yeah.
We'll give it to you.
Dude, when those ecstatic back caps came out, do you remember those?
Yeah.
I was like, of course, I didn't know nothing about nothing, but I just compared to a 1 farad capacitor, this thing was like night and day.
Yeah. My buddy used to run that in his Honda to start his car. He's like, this is so cool. And I'm like, is it? Is it really? This is awesome. Yeah. He also had like 27 layers of roadkill in his car because he worked for Stinger. So
why not?
He had all the blems. He was just bored. He just fucking car. It was a Honda Civic. It probably weighed an extra 1,000 pounds from all the freaking roadkill that was in it. But when you shut the door, it went boom.
I done the full top though on one door of the Prius, and we already talked about how bad the Prius sound dampening situation is.
Yeah, it's useless. I think I found a worse car though.
Oh, really? What car?
Yeah, it'd be a Tesla.
Really? Wow.
Dude. So we just did a Model Y last week, and Jesus Christ, like, what a piece of shit. Like, for all you Tesla fans out there, I hope you're buying them for something other than the car, because the car is shit. Like, a Corolla is better built than a freaking
Oh yeah, I think that's pretty obvious.
No, I mean you just cannot understand like I had to put the rear speakers in. You have to take the cover off, and it was like there is one piece of sound treatment in the middle of the door by where the lock is. That's it. I mean, and then you're just like doing, doing, doing. I was like, holy crap, this thing is like I could have put easily a half a box of sound treatment in there.
Wow.
And I don't know if it would have done. And then the stuff we were using was because they gave us the stuff was Dynamat like Slim or some shit like that.
Yeah.
That stuff is crap.
Like the 50 mil or whatever.
I have no idea. It's blue. It's shit. I don't recommend it. What a hunk of shit. Like that stuff. I mean, it goes on like easy, but there's nothing there. So yeah, but it's so useless. Like it doesn't do shit. You know. Yeah, it was so bad. But the car, and we got done with the stereo, and we're like, there's still rattles and shit, and we're like, with the amount of sound treatment we put in here, no one's gonna do that. Like, this guy's like, no one is gonna do a full baked potato, but they need to because the car is shit.
Yeah.
Like, and then like the plastics. Oh my god, the plastics are so flimsy. Like, oh, what a hunk of turd. Hey, Tesla. So good on them. Oh yeah. No, it's just like the A pillars, like taking off the A pillars, man. It's like, and they put a lot of clips on them, so that's scary.
Yeah.
But they use these little tiny shitty clips, so it's like, okay, I guess I'll go buy a whole bunch of these because these just go. Pew! They hunt for a clip. And it's like clip.
That's the clips all held up in the Toyota. The plastics, well, that's a different story.
Oh no, the clip will be locked in place, man. The plastic will be like in your hand.
I did have one. I was being after the dash incident.
Yeah,
I was being as careful as I could, and I still broke one. It didn't break the clip. The clip was still in there. It broke one part.
Yeah. I mean, I've had. And the clip is sitting there, and part of the dash where it was attached is sitting there, and it's got a hole in it. And you're just looking at it going, seriously? Like in a RAV4, the older generation RAV4 that's got these two little silver trims. And I'm like, look, those are going to snap in half. No. Those will snap in half when the minute I go to take it out, it's going to go snap.
Yep.
No matter what I do, they're going to crack in half. All right, well, just do your best.
I'm telling you.
Shit. My best is telling you that it's going to break.
Yeah.
The only redeeming value is it's like a brushed look. Yeah. So we can put it back together and it doesn't really look like, but we always tell the customer, these are going to snap in half. Just so you know, there's nothing we can do about it. When we go like this, they're going to go crack.
Yeah.
We can put them back together, but they will be cracked. If you want to buy new ones, you're more than happy to, and we'll put them on for you. But just know that these are going to snap here and here every single time.
Yeah.
And
that's basically when I was watching a video just to make sure I was taking the dash apart on the Prius correctly. Dude's like, hey, these are going to break. He said, you might get a couple of them out. He's like, one or two of these are going to break regardless. Unless it's a new vehicle, these are going to break. And they did. All of them except for one.
Yeah. So annoying.
And then the door panel, I use plastic weld because it's a piece that's behind the door anyways.
Yeah.
Plastic weld and call it good.
Yeah, we have the little thermal staples for plastic.
I need one of those. I've been wanting to order one.
Dude, those things are the best.
I know, they look awesome.
Yeah. Those are a lifesaver, especially on like some of these GM dashes that come in and it's like 200 pieces. And you're just looking at it going, I don't even have anything to screw the radio to. And so then you just start putting and you get done and there's 50 of these things and they're just holding this one little 4-inch section and you're like, seriously? Like, this is dumb. What year is your Prius?
It's an 06.
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting when I start putting power in it how I'm gonna do that. I don't know. I mean, because it's got a like a motorcycle straighter or something in there, not an alternator.
Right, but it's got a battery in the back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'll be able to hook up from there.
Dude,
But
we did an SK 2500 on that bitch.
did you really? I'm
Oh,
fixing to put a KXA. It's sitting right here, a KXA 2400 in there with
yeah.
that battery sitting right next to it.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll see. That one's pretty efficient, so I think it'll be okay.
Yeah, you'll be fine. It'll be okay. I don't see it as a problem. Yeah, I was so pissed when they're like, "We're gonna do this." I go, "Why in the world are we putting this in there?" Like, you see this little tiny battery, right? That's what the kid wants. I'm gonna kill you. I don't care. Dean, any idea where to get an Aussie iron? I know Maddie doesn't sell them anymore. Did anyone take it over? So basically, what happened is Aussie Iron from Australia decided that they didn't want to do it anymore, and they went out of business. One of the financial backers picked up the brand, as it were, but the aluminum Aussie Iron was already like dead, gone, buried, and they had switched to this new, thing. Fernando has one. It's all plasticky and stuff. Really, I think the best replacement for it is the habanero iron. But that seems to be the one that everyone is kind of like gravitating. They either go with the Milwaukee or they go with the habanero.
Yeah, I've burned up 2 Milwaukee so far. They don't seem very tough.
Well, so the new version of the Milwaukee, what they've done is they rebuilt the top section now.
Yeah.
Because basically it's the tip that goes bad.
Mm-hmm.
So they've rebuilt the top section and they've added an extension on it that goes up and holds the tip in place. And so it's way more robust looking. When we were at Mobile Solutions last year, I'm looking at it going, this doesn't look right. And I grabbed the other one. It was an older one. And I go, oh shit, they fixed it.
Might have to check it out then. Because I bought a Weller butane piece of junk.
No, butane torches are shit.
Dude, it is a piece of junk, man.
Yeah. The only thing butane is good for is like a torch. Like we use the it's a Tesla company. They make a really good torch that we use. I don't remember what it's on the DNF tool drawer, but yeah, I don't know. I bought a couple different. Like I bought this. I bought a soldering gun that looks like a. It takes the Milwaukee 18 volt. Because there was a company that make all this knockoff stuff for the 18 volts. They make like a heat gun, a soldering gun, and yeah. So I bought all that, and I was like, yeah, we'll try this at some point. Power probe, yeah, I used the power probe butane torch. Anytime you see us in a video doing heat shrink, that's the one we're using. I like that one. I've had a lot of luck with it over the last. I mean, I've had 3 in the last 10 years, 11 years. So that's pretty successful run in my book. I think Fernando's had 2. One of them I dropped, so it wasn't like it got dropped so many times it finally cracked, and I was like, that's usually how I break them, is just because I drop them repeatedly. So they don't ever wear out. They don't.
That's usually what breaks Milwaukee tools is the spark that holds the battery in. Eventually, you drop them enough, it won't hold a battery in any longer.
Yeah. But we buy, for those we just buy third party. Hey, Dean, were you able to do any Rivians yet? Wondering about build quality and materials used in those. No. Like, dude, we just finally got a Tesla. Like, I don't know what it is here, but we just don't get. Dude, this is F-150 country, bro. Like, they ain't buying those. I've seen them driving around, but there was a Rivian guy at Master Tech. He was one of the guys teaching the upholstery class. Because Gary Bell, who works for Ramp now, but when he was on his own, he did a lot of work for Rivian, apparently. So he was one of the contractors that would do weird stuff for them. So he had one of the upholstery guys come out and teach a class. So that was kind of neat. Didn't get to see it, but saw him.
Yeah.
I was like, Rivian? Is that car company? He goes,
I've
yep.
Never seen one in the wild.
Yeah. I've seen a couple of them here, but
yeah, but you're in Florida. I'm in Arkansas.
Well, exactly.
We just now seen Teslas in the wild.
Yeah, we have those everywhere, but it's like, dude. And there again, I sat in the Model Y and I listened to it, and I'm like, I gotta be honest with you, I don't know why anyone would upgrade this.
Yeah, I heard
people that are buying it not going to upgrade it.
That's what Steve Irby has, and I listened to his, and he basically said the same thing. Like, I haven't upgraded it because it's fine.
Right. Which does. Which does, and the other thing too is like, my guy's in the back and I don't want to bother him, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you should bother them. You should bother them a lot.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you can't make something better than this, the fuck are you doing here?
Yep. That's a good note to end on.
Oh, totally. Totally good note to end on. Thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah. We will see you next week for another fun time. And if you want to join us for some nonsense that's not karate related, click the link and come check out SideJag.
Yep. See ya.
See ya.